Can't get this bloody thing in tune. Give us a minute. Some things are different and I'm just trying to work it out. Let me know in the comments if you can hear my voice when I'm a bit closer. And also this. And I'm just going to have a little bit of a fiddle. Oh, the trials, the trials. Alright, give us a minute. Oh, that'll do. Right. Oh, right. Sorry. Excuse me. Excuse me. Hello. Welcome. Can't find. I don't know what I'm doing. Hello. Hello, everybody. Somebody said they can hear me. That's great. Glad to hear that. Just check my levels. That's not looking too bad. It all seems okay. The colour on the camera seems off to me. Like way off. But it's not off over there. Oh. Maybe we're just going to have to go with being a little bit red. Hang on. Right, okay, hello. Sorry, chaotic, useless, unprofessional start this evening. I don't know that this is going to drive me nuts. Never mind. Hello, welcome. Hello, my name's Robin Vincent, and welcome to Molten Music Technology chat time. That looks slightly better. Little orange, yeah. Yeah, alright, well whatever. Okay, so I have a new camera, which is exciting, and that's part of the reason why I'm late trying to get this together and it doesn't look right. I mean, it looks great in the camera thingy, although sadly on this camera the HDMI output cable goes straight across the screen, so I can't see myself. Humph. But anyway, so I haven't gotten to the bottom of this camera yet. I've only just got it working for a live stream. For all I know, it's going to time out and turn itself off like my other camera used to. Who knows? I'm just going to go with it for the minute, and I'm going to talk to the camera, talk to the lens, rather than to my avatar over there. Oh, I don't know. Sunspots is what I'll put it down to. Let me bring this in so I can see comments and stuff. Right, so hi, this is usually where we spend a little bit of time chatting about the product, bits and pieces, things that went on, stuff, anything that feels important or relevant. I would like to start off perhaps initially just to do a little bit of housekeeping maybe. I said rather boldly on my Molten Music Monthly that Microsoft has messed up all of our lives with their latest update. Now, I need to stress, as I probably didn't make it very clear at the time, that to use the words like apparently, because I haven't actually experienced that yet, because I haven't had any of my machines update. I've just been getting reports from people to say that the tweak that I've been doing for years and years, this tweak, in order to help with disabling turbo, it's a simple, easy way to disable turbo in your Surface or other similar laptop, and it works and it gets your system running perfectly. That tweak has been taken away. That's my understanding. That's what I've been told, although as I say, I have not seen that myself. But that's what I've been told. And so I'm looking for a new way of doing that. And I've just been talking to Pete Ward, the Microsoft guy, lovely guy, who I thought I would have told about this many times, but he seems to think that what I'm doing with CS enabled is something I shouldn't ever have been doing. It's like, you know, what are you talking about? It's like, I don't know, I'm just trying to fix people's computers, man. Just trying to get this stuff to work. So I'm assuming that he has some kind of magic fix for me that means that I no longer have to deal with all of that, and I'm going to have something simple. It won't be simple though with Pete. It will be a whole load of PowerShell stuff, a whole load of command line bits and pieces, which is precisely why I like the tweak that we had. But we shall see. So just to reconfirm then that I haven't seen the problem myself. It may not be a problem. Pete seems to say that he can't see any difference on his machine, but I've only just started the conversations. I haven't got into any depth about what on earth he's talking about, what machine he means, and does he understand what I'm trying to say. So there's plenty of the usual sort of mystery surrounding this kind of thing, as well as a certain amount of hope that perhaps it's not all going to be a disaster. Now, I don't ever think it was going to be a disaster, because I was going to find a solution. There's numerous bits of third-party software out there which fiddle around with the back end of computers that let you perhaps get around this problem. So I was pretty confident that I would find a solution. But it's worth noting, because of the tweak that I've been telling thousands of people to do, and they have masses of views and have sorted out thousands and thousands of people those little tweak videos that I do, it's all going to go a bit pear-shaped. Oh well. So I'm going to have to give that another go. But alright, so just to get that out there, that I don't actually know if there's a problem or not. I haven't encountered it myself. I was just trying to warn you that it's all might go a bit crazy, but don't fear. I'm sure I'll have a solution along before too long. Alright, got that? Good, cleared that away. Right, let me just have a drink of water, and then we can talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. I'm very disturbed by the colour, because the thing was, right, I got this lovely, it's a Lumix GH5, it's a fantastic camera. It's just, I mean, I've been mulling over this camera for about 2 years, going, oh, it's just, I can't afford it, can't justify it. There's no way, I'm all right, I'm trotting along with what I've got, that's fine, blah, blah, blah. Then eventually it comes up on a bit of a deal, and I think, sod it, I'm going to go for it, because I'm making a lot of videos, and my Canon, my lovely Canon camera that I've used for a lot, is on its last legs. The flip out screen is kind of half broken, and the image flickers about all over the place. It's difficult to live stream with, because you have to send it to the desktop and then capture that desktop, and you can only do it in 720p or 480p. I don't know, the next one down from HD anyway. So I kind of needed to up my game to the 4K sort of brigade, and this was definitely the one to do that with. Also, it removes the really annoying 15 to 30 minute limit on video recording that the Canon has, that was forever tripping me up. I'm forever noodling away down here doing something and then looking back up at the camera, and oh look, it stopped recording. I mean, how can... I've suffered with that for about 5 years. So I am thrilled to be past that. But the flip side is, I don't have any idea how to work this camera. Not really. I've managed to just about set it up a bit like how the Canon was, and that's what I did my Molten monthly on. That didn't look too bad. You know, the colour was, I don't know, it didn't, I mean, it looked brilliant. The quality of the shot is fantastic. The image quality is just out of this world. It's just the saturation and the colouring and those kinds of things which I'm struggling with a little bit at the moment. Hence my very orange... my orange thing. But why? Because it's good there and it's good over there. Why is it bad here? What is it doing? Yeah. I'll take that down a little bit more. Then it goes a bit green. Whoa. Oh, I'm just going to have to live with it. So hello, you're very welcome. So, I'm sorry, it's so weird I can't see myself. I'm going to have to I'm also on a stupid chair because I can't sit on my usual chair because of my back, which is all right at the moment. I've taken all the pills I can take today, so I'm fairly floaty. I just wish I could drink some beer, which I can't, sadly. But let me take my glasses off and have a look and say hello to a few people. You got Glastonbury at the same time. Nice one. Oh, I've completely, you know, some things I just managed to completely miss. I seem to have a complete disconnection with, like, normal telly. I've lost that completely. It's gone. Where it's all on demand now, and it's odd. I feel a disconnect from culture, from what on earth is going on in the world. You know, I'm looking at the 6 o'clock news at like 7:30. It just doesn't seem right. So the fact that it's Glastonbury weekend and I should be watching it on the telly, but I haven't had time for that, and I haven't got around to doing that. So, you know, anyway, Hi Andrew, first in the door. Well done, well done. I'm sorry I wasn't able to set up a thing quicker than I did. Oh, that looks a bit better. Perhaps calmed it down a little bit. Let's go with that. So yeah. Oh yeah. So hi. Hello Steve. Individual 2, greetings. Todd, hi, how you doing? Tuning in is relative. Thank you for that. That's good. I'm going to pop out this chat because I'm like a crazy person. I can make it all about the chat. No, I need to be able to see that the thing is working at the same time, don't I? I do need to be able to do that. All right. Bit of that. Bit of that. I've just lost it all. Oh dear. Okay, good. Wow, you've all been talking stuff. Good, good to see you. Nice. Yeah, chicken jokes, all about the chicken jokes. That's great. Oh yeah, I'm also sorry about that. Something weird happened at the beginning of the video when I was talking about the resurface thing, because I dropped a piece of video in and then either I didn't delete it or it went over the top of something else, or I accidentally copied and pasted something. Anyway, I just had this crossfade with something going on and it was all a bit weird. And then poor old on the Heimbach fundamental bit, I completely didn't do the blur transition. I mean, I've been having a bit of a video week. I mean, I don't know how many of you folks out there use our video editors, but it's something which I really generally quite enjoy. But I've been doing this what would you call it, a lockdown performance video for my church, for the worship team there. There's a whole like 20 of us or something, and so everybody recorded, you know, we put together this idea, like many people have, of doing a lockdown version of some song, just for fun, for creativity, because we haven't been getting together to play together. It seemed like a fun thing to do, and I said, oh yeah, I'll mix it. I'll edit it. So I got a shed load of phone video and audio in 1,000 different formats, some of it in sync, some of it not in sync to anything, and I've spent the last couple of weeks trying to put that together. And I started off just with it all in Vegas, you know, audio and video all together, and after about an hour or two of fiddling with that, I decided that it's just you can't. You have to fix the audio, because it just sounded, not that it sounded, oh, it sounded awful, it just did not sound right, because you've got all this phone audio coming in everywhere and none of it is balanced against each other and it's noisy and stuff. Anyway, so I sucked it all out, stuck it into Studio One and created a bit of a mix, and it's sounding pretty good. I mean, considering this is all done on phones, it sounds pretty awesome. So anyway, I've got me mix and I've made notes on me mix as to when people are playing and stuff, and now I'm doing the video. And so I've got, I don't know, 30 tracks of video, perhaps 20 maybe, I don't know, 20, 30 tracks of video. And my computer was just going, I can't, I don't know what I'm doing. And the thing has slowed down to a flipping crawl. And I've got a decent computer. It's an i9 990, you know, serious piece of computing. But it just seems that Vegas and my video card have not got on well. Since I upgraded, I think, no, this is the video card from my last computer, I think. Anyway, last time I upgraded, I went for an AMD Radeon video card, because at the time, as far as I could find, Sony Vegas, Magic's Vegas, was saying that that's the best choice. That was what was working. Having previously used NVIDIA cards and found their performance a bit kind of nah. But I've had a lot of trouble with it. You know, blue screens, resets, right in the middle of an edit, things like that, that can only really either be the RAM, but I don't ever seem to get these resets in any other piece of software. At least I don't think so. So it can only really be the video card that's causing me trouble. Anyway, and trying to do these streams of video, the preview on it, it chunders like crazy. It drops frames and you can't, it's just been so difficult to do. And yet, you know, I see like school teachers banging these things out with their kids. They're probably just doing it on a little crappy school laptop, you know, and somehow doing it in Windows Video. But maybe, but I'm imagining, because I've got like, you know, boxes and 9 faces and then 20 faces and then, you know, trying to mix all these things together. Anyway, It's just hard, and that's given me a lot of trouble this week. Combine that with a new camera that going on, trying to get these things to render. I don't even know why I started this down this line now, other than to say it's been a tricky week for video, and I've been considering going over to something else like Resolve from DaVinci, from Blackmagic, because it really looks slick in comparison. I mean, Vegas is awesome in its own way, and I know it inside out, the bits that I use, that it's very fast. And you know, I can smash just bits of video together, apply a pan and a zoom and a bit of animation to move something around very, very simply. I had a look into Resolve. I had no clue how to do anything. But of course, these things take time, and maybe it's worth the time. I don't know. But I might have come to the end of the road with Vegas. It's really just starting to get to me now. By the by, put that somewhere safe. Okay, so Andrew, you say you're very happy with your KeyStep Pro so far. Yes, I would say. I mean, this is great. I mean, it does give an opportunity to just create something in a very familiar environment. The one thing I would say is, and the reason I didn't like the KeyStep Pro is because it kind of drags you back into that DAW style sequencing, and that's okay, that's nothing wrong with that. But with Eurorack, it offers an opportunity not to do that and to approach it differently. And I think getting rid of the KeyStep Pro, as I did quite quickly, enabled me to dig deeper into my Eurorack and to be more creative with control voltage. Whereas this, it's a keyboard, I'm just going to be knocking out tunes like it may as well be MIDI, is what it makes me feel. And in some circumstances that's great, and I know that I'm going to be able to write some half decent sort of pop tunes with that, and that's probably going to be great and fun, and that's something that I want to do. But ultimately, just bringing that light in a bit more, I like chewing deeper with Eurorack sequencers. There's just something else going on to it, if you know what I mean. So I don't wish to discourage you with your KeyStep Pro purchase. I'm just wanting to suggest that it's not the solution to everything. It's a good thing, use it for what it's worth, but then also don't use it. I would recommend not using it and using some other things, or use it in combination with other sequencers, which is something that I'm finding quite interesting. Because otherwise it's going to overwhelm, I think, and everything will become about that. And I don't think that's necessarily, I don't think that's necessarily what you want. It might be, who knows? But, you know, just putting that out there. Hi, Paul from Cornwall. No. White balance. Yeah, well, that's the thing. I hit the white balance button and I white balanced to that, which is fairly white, I thought. And that's what gave me the orange hue. So, slightly confused about that. So I've manually dialed down the red, and that seems to have helped. But I'm going to have to experiment with this a bit, obviously, because this is a much better camera. Although, could I flipping work out how to get HDMI out of it at the right resolution? God, dear oh Lord. Anyway, enough about that. Plenty of other more interesting things to talk about than my problems. Is there anything that makes the Surface inherently better for music production than other laptops? No, nothing at all, unless you like a touch interface, because that's what it's got. But no, there's nothing special about the Surface in terms of music production. In fact, everything about the Surface is the opposite of what you want for music production, because what you want for music production is a desktop computer. Because anything which has this sort of series CPU in it, so the super slick high battery life and that kind of thing, low power high battery life processor that you'll find in Surfaces, you'll find in hybrids, you'll find in a lot of other laptops, Ultrabooks, that kind of thing. They are all rubbish for music production, and that's just the way of things. But the Surface is an awesome computer. I mean, I've been through a few now, and I use one to work on a lot of the time when I'm not in here, and it's a wonderful thing. I love the combination of keyboard, mouse and touch, all of that. You know, I do so much walking around it, standing around it, and tapping on things and plopping on things, and combinations of then typing and then doing that. I guess it's the same experience that people have with an iPad. You know, it has that ability to be a very friendly device in the kitchen, in the living room, you know, anything like that. It's brilliant, totally brilliant. For music production, it's not ideal, no, not at all, because you want a big fat processor, a really big fat processor, and lots and lots of RAM and lots of hard space and stuff. So no, it's not ideal at all. But then few laptops are. And I would also say that regardless of what laptop you have, they are all potentially have problems of running music software and audio interfaces because of the turbo mode and the way that the processors step up and they step down. And there's a certain amount of work that needs to be done in order to tweak them. And when you can tweak them, when you do tweak them, then they work fine. Are they packed full of power? No, they're not, because they're mobile devices that are supposed to run on batteries and are supposed to be able to do that for a long time. So it's not going to be packed full of processing power. But I've done a whole load of videos and they can do plenty. It depends on what your requirements are. But I've thoroughly enjoyed the service. I would never buy any other form of laptop. It's just the best thing. The workflow, the combination, the power, which is enough. It's a beautiful thing. I love it. Absolutely love it. Completely convinced all the way. I just wish that they all just worked out of the box, you know. But there we go. There we go. How's a teenage engineering module tough? All right, I'll bring that over if you like in a bit. In a bit. I've look back here. Can you? I don't know what you can see, what you can't see anymore. Over there, right? I'm making. You see that? I can't see what you can't see. Do you know what I mean? I've cleared that space there because I'm running out of space, as one does, and that's going to be sort of like the special photography corner, because I have to take photos of the stuff that I review, and I'm going to make that spot, put a couple of lights around it, and have nice things sitting on it. So maybe, yeah, I'll pull out the 400 and the 170 in a minute and we'll have a look at that. Started using PCs in the times of DOS 3.3. Really? Pretty sure I started at 3.2. Oh, I started with a twin floppy drive anyway. That was my first PC. It's my mum's PC because she was a bit of a secretary, and she had it at home for typing up things, I think, using WordStar possibly, and it ran off 2 floppies, and I think I had 1 car racing game I could get to run. That was about it. Been doing it far too long. And do I care? Do I care about Linux? No, I really don't. I really don't. Somebody sent me a £5. What, for this rubbish that I'm talking? That's amazing. Thank you, whoever that was. It hasn't told me who it was. But that's beautiful. What a beautiful thing. I really appreciate it. So, lighting's a bit too bright in the face. The nearer you move to the camera, your lighting's a bit too bright in your face the nearer you move to the camera. The nearer they move. Okay, well I brought that up. Oh, I don't know. Amon says you disabled turbo and IEC on my desktop in the BIOS because of getting digital noise. Yeah, you'll probably find that's a C states problem. If you go into the BIOS, yeah, and find C states and disable that, that's more likely going to be causing the digital noise than turbo mode as such. I would suggest, but you know, who knows? You do what you need to do. Do what you need. Yeah, no, and just to add to my dismissal of Linux is that, yeah, no, that's great. It's just that everything that I need to do, everything I need to run is just on Windows. So unless I'm going to retrain myself and redo everything and have to use OpenOffice, I mean, I did that for a while, then I just can't be bothered. I really just can't be bothered anymore. But it's awesome that some people do and are prepared to get stuck in there with that whole Linux thing. Awesome. I think that's brilliant. It's just not really for me. John says something really alarming in Russian, which is exciting. Good to see that. Oh, bloke called Bast. There you go. It's come up now. Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. I love that you love my channel. That's awesome. Thanks very much. GTS wasn't sure what he said. DaVinci Resolve works pretty cool. Yeah. Cool. Don't worry about the downvotes, mate. I have a dedicated team of downvoters who follow me about. They're there almost immediately downvoting the stuff. It's fascinating. I mean, you could probably write a paper on it for something. The mindset of the downvoter, you know, what it is that's got under their skin about it, that they feel the need to do it all the time. And also, it's interesting because as far as YouTube's concerned, a downvote is engagement. So it doesn't matter whether it's an upvote or a downvote. That only matters superficially to people who are watching the video, perhaps. It doesn't matter as far as analytics go or the reach of your video. So people who click the downvote are actually boosting the viewability of the video. So I don't mind. I don't mind. I would love to know why, though. Why you do that? I mean, is there anybody here who likes my stuff who goes to other people's to dislike it immediately? I mean, is there anyone here who does that? Because I'll be fascinated to know why and how and what you get out of that. Is there some kind of, you know, endorphin rush? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Some people like the KeyStep Pro. I mean, one of the things I didn't like about it was the fact that everybody had one. But that's just stupid. I mean, it's a stupid thing. But that's just sometimes how I feel. I feel like, oh, everybody's using this. Everybody's got one of these. Then maybe I want to be looking at something else. I mean, that's partly an inferiority complex, because if everyone else has got one, then they're going to be doing better stuff on it than I am. So I'd rather have something obscure, perhaps, that nobody else has done, or get in there first, so that I won't feel I look stupid compared to all the people who actually know what they're doing. That would be some of it. Did I connect the Bafako VCMC to the KeyStep to control some MIDI CCs? No. You would that into that to do some MIDI? But this has MIDI already. This can already do MIDI, can't it? I thought. I haven't plugged it into anything MIDI yet, but I assumed that it could do MIDI. I don't know. But no, I haven't. In fact, I don't have this plugged in at the moment. I'm not sure why. VCMC, that requires a bit more looking into, I think. But I'm gradually forming things into some ways that I'm starting to understand. The main piece I'm sort of resisting finalising things for is, of course, a Descartes Dream, which could be awesome. I'm not sure how on earth it's going to fit, how or where it's going to fit, but I'm very excited about the prospect. Probably up here, but it's going to stick out. Maybe it needs to be up there, but that will be out of the way. I want to be able to touch it. So maybe it's going to have to go here at a bit of an angle. Oh no, that's not going to work. Maybe I'll have to go under. I don't know. Don't know. What's my favourite arpeggiator? Whatever arpeggiator is going at the time. Now I do like this fella here. Oh, I've got it all tied up. This one, the Novation Launch Key Mini. The arpeggiator in this is the best arpeggiator I've ever seen because of the mutate and deviate buttons, dials, knobs, functions. Their new Mark III controllers from Novation have this now as well. I've got one over there that I'm reviewing for Sound on Sound magazine. And it's the same deal, really. Same nice slickness, but obviously in a larger keyboard format. But the mutate and deviate on this are superb. I love it. Because you just set something going. This is what arpeggiating is all about, really. And then the mutate pushes the notes around, so it starts messing about with the notes, and deviate messes around with the timing, and it lets you create all sorts of interesting things. So yeah, liking that. That's a favourite thing. And now I've got MIDI out on it. I had to could not find the right MIDI adapter, and in the end found that the IK ones, IK multimedia ones, were the right type, because I seem to have all of one type except for the IK multimedia ones, which have these stupid mini jacks. So I got then another bloomin' adapter to put that up to the proper size, and now I finally have a MIDI out on my Novation launch key. Fantastic. I better put that back in there or that will just walk. Cool. The camera is auto-correcting, changing the colour. Well, I haven't touched the camera, so how can that be auto-correcting? Oh, I mean, that was the other thing. In order to get the right resolution, I had to put it into Magic Camera mode, which I've never used. I always use it on M, which I assumed was for manual, but it's not actually that, is it? It's for, I don't know. So I don't understand cameras. Anyway, I usually set things to M, and then I roll a couple of dials to set the exposure and the other thing, the two numbers. But I had to put it onto camera mode in order to drop the resolution so that my vMix software would understand it. And I don't have any clue. I moved some things, I couldn't find out how you move it, and now, as I say, I can't see the screen, so I can't really adjust it either. So it's just going with what we've got at the moment, and I'll give it another go another time. Yeah, Andrew, you're right. The KeyStep Pro is a very cost-effective solution. It's brilliant. Don't get, you know, I really like it, and it enables me to do really quick sequences and stuff. And I haven't even scratched the surface with it yet. I think it's really good, far better for me than the KeyStep Pro, simply because if I'm going that kind of way and sequencing in that way, then it may as well have a keyboard, and it does, which is ace. So yeah. Aaron says he's been helped by a bit of yoga. Yoga. Oh, I got another one. What? So I need to be ill prepared and chaotic every week by the looks of things. Ow. Yes, back pain. 5 minutes of yoga each morning. From Amazon Prime Video called Yoga Therapy for Back Pain, Stress Relief. Thank you very much. Well, look, I'm trying this thing out tomorrow, right? I've been doing numerous stretches and bits and pieces for my back, as I do. I am very practiced at sorting it out, weathering this, because I have it every year. It's usually once a year. Sometimes it skips a year, or it's just a mild one. This year it's been particularly sciatical, but it just knocks you for 6, and then you feel like you're having to learn to walk again or something. So yeah. So anyway, so I've got this plan, right? Because I've been doing my usual sorts of exercises, and I'm always looking about for new things to do, and maybe there's something that I can incorporate into my life, because I'm terrible at it. Because once I start feeling better, I then drop the exercises almost immediately and carry on with my life. Not to say I'm not active. I mean, you know, I do kung fu and tai chi and bits and pieces, but nothing daily. But so I'm my Facebook, because I've been talking about my back. My Facebook feed is full of adverts for courses, and 30-day handstands, 30-day splits, 30-day this, that, and the other. And I feel to myself that I need to commit to something, to do it every day, because I can't be doing with this back business. It puts me out for 2 months, and it's just the pits. And there's nothing particularly that I do that triggers it. It's just one of those things. I've had an MRI scan and everything else. I have a herniated disc. There's medical proof of badness in my spine, and I try to manage that, but I don't manage it well enough. So the way I find that I'm able to commit to something is if I have an obligation. So I've been thinking about turning it into a bit of a excuse me, into a bit of an offshoot YouTube channel. I know, right? Because whenever you try to look for reviews of fitness programs or stretching programs, they're always reviewed by really buff fitness people who know what they're doing and are extraordinarily fit and bouncy already. And so I can't see how they're ever giving any kind of honest appraisal of what it is that they're trying to review. Plus, they've nearly always got affiliate links and sponsored by and this, that, and the other. So how true is it anyway? And a lot of these things feel like scams, let alone anything else. So anyway, so I thought, well, why don't I force myself to follow these things and obligate myself to a viewership. Listen to me, like people are actually going to watch this stuff. And then that will hopefully encourage me to keep on doing it, because I have to do it anyway. Having to do it anyway, so it's not going to put a load of time onto me. What it means is I'm going to have to just set up a camera, and when I'm exercising, just to film myself, and then maybe do a weekly 10-minute talk about it. Maybe. You know, I mean, the size of the fitness industry is enormous. And just by doing it in my sleep, it could generate huge amounts of views and things like that. Who knows? I don't know. I've no idea. But ultimately, I'd like to review different forms of stretching and fitness and flexibility based around back pain, because we all have back pain. And I think if there was somebody doing those sorts of reviews, I would find that helpful. And I can't seem to find it amongst all the dross. So maybe if I was to do it, other people would find that helpful. Does that make any kind of sense? I mean, I don't know. Sometimes in my head I think that's just going to be too much work. But I'm trying to see it as not being work. I'm trying to see it as me forcing myself into a regime to actually follow something. So then, you know, I'll do 30 days of the yoga guy bouncing on his head, and then I'll do 30 days of that extraordinary woman who does the really weird flowy flexy thing. And then, you know, and I won't take my shirt off or anything, I promise. So yeah, I thought that might be a thing, but I don't know. I'm going to try it out this week just to see whether I can physically do it and whether it's too much of a faff or not. And I'm currently on something called Kaya Health, which is an app that I follow from the back, because they do some particularly interesting and useful exercises. And the guy's got a really soothing voice, and he says buttocks really, really nicely. So I like that. Anyway, but thank you. Yes, no doubt yoga's going to be in there too. We're going to see how we do it. Da-ba-da. So I'm probably already still half an hour behind the comments, but I don't know. I'm just chilling this evening. You know. It started out when there was no DOS, no disks. Did you lose the entire bit of software when you turned the machine off? Ah, yes. Or was this before electricity? Yes. David, thank you very much. It is extraordinarily appreciated for people to get on board with the whole Patreon thing. It's, I mean, I've been Patreoning for a couple of years, I think, and it seemed like a crazy thing to do, because I mean the whole connection between doing this thing, becoming a YouTuber, and then trying to make money out of that, it's all so weird and crazy. Because, I mean, hearing myself talk about the whole fitness thing, because there's a little thing in the back of my mind going, you know, it could be huge. Yeah, but that's not really it, because that's just so laughable that it just doesn't bear thinking about. I mean, for me, it has to come from a desire to want to get this stuff out there because it's helpful to people. It always has to be that. As soon as I start trying to sponsor myself or other bits and pieces, I run into massive amount of self-doubt and trouble and difficulty. You know, there's something, it's almost self-defeating amount of trying to be authentic to oneself. You know, I know that I could probably push this into some kind of full-time thing if I wanted to, if I could smooge with enough companies in order to get more stuff, more sponsorship, more free gear. You know, that is a possibility, but that just doesn't, that never seems to sit very well with me. Blah de blah. Anyway, what was I saying? So yeah, don't give me money. No, that's not what I'm saying. So I struggled with the whole idea of Patreon for quite a while, because it's like, well, why would people give me money? I don't understand. How does that work? But over time and talking to other people, it's been enormously enabling, because it does create a bit of a buffer. And when you turn it on, you're suddenly having money that you didn't have before. You know, and you're not necessarily doing a load of extra work in order to get it. It's actually rewarding you better than flipping YouTube ever does. You know, than the pennies that you get from advertising in that regard. And it suddenly becomes, well, this is actually viable, and it's actually makes some kind of sense, because I'm releasing content and entertainment, I suppose, to some degree, and information, which is taking a lot of time. Why is there another box on my view screen? Anyway, and so on. And that's like releasing records, it's like releasing music, it's like releasing books. You know, all of those creative streams should be ultimately rewarded, you know, monetarily, because that's how we exist in this society. And so reconciling those couple of things in my head, I think, was quite important, and that continues to be a very important part of my income. It's only a small amount, but it's significant, because, you know, I'm not getting rich off it, but it's good, man. It's really good. It's encouraging. And it's part of what allowed me to buy the camera, because, you know, the last straw of it was that I try not to look at the income from Patreon until there's a gear purchase required, and it had come up with enough. You know, I'd left it alone for 6 months, however long it was, and it was enough, and that's fantastic. And that means I'm able to invest in the quality of the picture and the film and do things better and to a higher level, and that's just fantastic. And I wouldn't have been able to do that without Patreon. So it's an awesome thing. It really is an awesome thing. So thank you for anyone who wants to join up to that. Dum-ba-dum. Hardware drivers for ARM PCs yet? Not that I've heard of. Cheap DIY kits, Thonk or Infinite Machinery would be places to look. Something weird going on with the camera's exposure levels. Yes, but then this is probably ages ago, so we've forgotten about that. We're moving on from that. It's Fiatus. Thank you very much for that contribution. That's awesome. Thank you. That's much appreciated. God bless you, mate. Do. All right, I'll get to it. Just a second. I don't want to miss anybody's awesomeness. Okay, Behringer Crave or Volca keys? That's a good question. I would say Crave, actually. I find the Volca box is just too small and too fiddly. Crave is a good size. It's a good size desktop unit. Sounds good. It's got a good sequencer on it. I understand it. You know, there's no hidden weirdness like there often is with Volca stuff. So yeah, in my view, you know, whatever you think. I mean, obviously, if Behringer is an offence to you, then get the Volca. But if not, then I think the Crave is a good little machine. Good little machine. The Argos Bleak. From Argos. What you can get an arpeggiator from Argos. Do you have to fill in the little form with your pencil? Then you got to go and pick it up. So Andrew, you're saying all your old synths are now being connected up as you speak. So is there somebody sort of like ferreting around connecting stuff up? Because I know that you'd be sitting there in rapt attention of everything that I'm saying. So you couldn't possibly be doing two things at the same time. Otherwise you might miss a moment of my genius. There's a Soma competition. Stop talking about the exposure. I have no idea. I won't do it again, whatever it is that I'm doing. I'll try to work out how on earth to sort that out. I mean, looking at myself on YouTube now, I'm just a little dark, that's all. But it's essentially calmed down because I've taken some of the red out. I don't know. And this stupid HDMI cable sticking out and covering up nearly the entire screen means I can't even fiddle with... Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Toilet's not the problem this time around, funnily enough. That's not been a problem. I've had very, very posh chairs, and in fact, I think my posh chair is part of the problem. Funnily enough, because now I'm sitting on a kitchen chair, which is just the best. It's just solid. It's a kitchen chair. You know, it's not going anywhere. It's not trying to sculpt me or sit me in any particular position, and I can sit on the edge of it like this, which feels comfortable, or sit here that feels comfortable. So yeah, you can take your posh chair, right? Anyway. No, I won't be wearing a paisley lycra onesie. No, I won't. No, I won't. I bought some new pants, in fact, for this, because I figured I can't just do it in me jammy bottoms like I do normally. I'm going to have something a little bit more controlled. Anyway. Buttocks. Yeah, indeed. It's just amazing. Michael, or Mikhail. I don't know what 20 sec is, but it sounds awesome. I'll take it. So an update on the Decker Stream. Update on Decker Stream is simply, everything is just a little bit on hold because I can't do close work very well at the moment because I can't sit long enough in the same position. I'm having to shuffle about in order to keep the pain at bay. So my current order of things to get things done is a review of the M185 sequencer. I did the build of it. I just need to do a review because I haven't gone beneath the surface of it yet, and I really need to do that. So I need to spend a day with it at least, just fiddling about before I can then film a review of it. I then need to build the Perkle from Bafako because I have that as a kit. It looks exciting, and I need it for my next review after that, which is the Ratchet, this lovely thing here, this drum machine, because I don't really have enough drum sources to make a good review of it. So I'll be doing the Ratchet next, and then after that it's Deckar's Dream voice card time. So that's where that is at the moment. It's just awaiting me to start on the voice cards, which I think I can probably knock out in a couple of days. Well, at least I could do one and see where that takes me. Then once the voice cards are done, there's probably a little bit of sort of admin I need to do on it, as in, do I actually then have all the parts? Because there were a couple of bits I couldn't get at the time. I need the encoder, the link thing for updating the firmware. So a little bit of fiddling and faffling around is required, and then we're going to see whether it works. So we would be at that point already if it hadn't been for this blooming back thing. But I reckon this week I'll gonna give it a go of seeing if I can work at the bench all right, because like my chair's too low really, and there's, so I will have a look at that. But that's where that is, and I am itching to get that together. Yeah. No, it doesn't feel like tipping a stripper to me. Honestly, it doesn't. It might get like that with the whole fitness thing, but no, I don't feel like a stripper being tipped. I know what you mean. I know what you're saying. It is a bit weird. It comes from the whole sort of Twitch crowd, I think. That kind of live streaming where you're live streaming gamers, and the gamers do a little dance every time they get a donation, or at least, I don't know, do they? That seemed to happen when I was watching some Nerdist fundraiser. Oh, anyway, it's nice. It's just nice. It's a lovely thing because, as I say, it's just useful. Andrew, late. Dear, oh dear. You need to spend 5 minutes in the corner. What? Okay. People feel morally obliged to reward creativity. That's a good thing, though, yeah? We should feel morally obliged because you're being given something. You're being given the beauty of some piece of art, and that you should feel morally in your soul that you should respond to that. In whatever way that is. Maybe that's by dancing, maybe that's by buying their record or their book, or by supporting them in some way, telling people about their stuff, going to their gigs. I think that's a correct obligation You know, I mean, you've said it as if it to make it. It feels like you said it negatively, and I don't know that for sure, of course. But I would say that's not a negative at all. I think that's exactly how it should be. There's a transaction involved in art. There should always be a transaction. I mean, could it all just be for free for the betterment of the world and humankind? I suppose so, but then it's just going to drain away because we've also got to put food on the table and bits and pieces, you know. So I think it's right that in a capitalist society that we're in, that there is that exchange and that transaction and that moral obligation to pay for your entertainment, to support your entertainers. Yeah, I think that's right. No, I'm not taking my clothes off. I'm really not taking my clothes off. Dreadbox Typhon. Sounds a bit good. Sounds alright. Interesting. Yeah, it wasn't what I thought exactly. Almost, but not exactly. I hoped that Sine Vibes were going to stick all the oscillators in. But no, it's all good old-fashioned analog oscillators and a filter. And then they've provided us a bunch of effects, which is good. You never have enough effects in little synths, I don't think. Yeah, with some exceptions, but often you'll find you've got a very dry output. And just having a delay is nice, but having a bigger choice of those sorts of things is great, I think. Oh, hang on. Ooh. Super 16. Oh, look, I might have caught up. Or have I just skipped a whole lot? Probably skipped a whole lot. But that's all right. Okay, good. Oh. First we dismantle capitalism. Yes, that's a possibility. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, there'll be plenty of I don't know what there'll be plenty of. Plenty of me sweating. Oh dear, I don't know. I don't know whether it's going to work. And it has to be in here because I can't try to film myself in my kitchen doing this. And so I've tried to make enough room so I'm not going to damage myself or something else. Oh, it's just who knows. Anyway, try not to think about that too much. So, what was I going to do? What were we going to talk about? Else than that. I mean, that's been an hour already. I'm going to have a little rest, I think, while I think about it. Oh, did you miss me saying anything about the M185? No, only as much as it's the next thing I'm going to do. I'm going to try to do it this week, and I've just been put off because of my inability to sit down with something for a long enough. Oh yeah, I might have played with those modulars. Okay, good tip, thank you. Okay, let me put this down. So, oh yeah, wanted to talk about Finlay Shakespeare for a moment. I don't know how many of you saw the Molten chat I had last week with Finlay Shakespeare from Future Sound Systems. It was very interesting, fascinating. He's an interesting player. He could talk. I had to do a lot of interrupting just to keep moving things along. But no, what an interesting guy. And again, very interesting in terms of live performance. I've got another performer coming in a week and a half on the 9th, so a week on Thursday, and that's Helena Vogel. Oh no, see, I forgot. Oh, I meant to practice the name. Vogelsinger, is that right? I hope that's right. I'll get it right. And so that's going to be interesting. I'm very interested in hearing about performance, people performing and actually doing that kind of thing with a bit of modular. That's very interesting to me. So I've got her coming up as a live stream in a week and a half or so. Do let me know if there's anything you'd like me to ask her. That would be super. I don't know a whole lot much else about her other than I picked up her record, which she released a couple of weeks ago. It's really nice. Although what stood out for me was that, I mean, I don't know about you, but my Facebook feed is full of people having a bit of a jam, and that's nice. And they all go through, and then Helena pops up, and she's somewhere beautifully shot in a beautiful place with beautiful things, and it looks great, and there's movement, and the sound coming out once you turn it on is really, really nice. And it's like a wonderful breath of fresh air through your Facebook feed. It's just fantastic. I mean, there's a few people that do that. I mean, Dual Tricks does that for me, if you know that guy, and also Rennie, the guy with the lots of red and blue lights in his thing. Always a beautiful piece of video that's scrolling up that makes you pause and watch. And Helena's are very much like that. I think that she's done a brilliant job on those things. So looking forward to that. Future sound system, yes, that's Finley Shakespeare. Yeah, I'd like to get a crystallizer. I kept kind of hoping he was going to say, "Oh well, I'll send you one," but that didn't quite happen. And he doesn't have to do that at all. I don't expect that to happen. I was just kind of hoping a little bit, but no, I'll get around to the crystallizer at some point, I think, because it certainly is interesting. Sample the wood pigeons, or kill the wood pigeons, is what we're probably going to do. All right, so the patch I had earlier. There's just 3 things going on, and I literally just pumped them in really quick. Something about the 2 HP pluck. It's been really, really useful, and I've enjoyed it. But it's difficult to tune, and it doesn't always sound as great as I hope it will. Sometimes it's just an absolute thing of beauty, but sometimes it isn't. And I think I might have to look into getting a rings at some point. Or is it a braids? No, it's a rings. Yes, maybe a small one. One of the open sourced ones, because I love the sound. I love that struck string sound and the sustain on it. It's just the 2 HP one I find it slightly frustrating at times. But as you say, Andrew, it's a lovely sound. When it's right, it's just beautiful. I've also got it going through the magneto. Yeah, I know, the magneto, right? But I've no idea what I'm doing with that. The other thing going on, I've no idea. Where's that coming from? It's going into there. So that's coming from there. There. Where's the output? There. Okay, that's coming from the STO, was the tinkly bit. Now, someone just mentioned Suzanne Kiani. I watched a video of that just the other day, and she did a couple of things which I just went, that's amazing, just totally amazing. Now, I wonder if I can replicate that quickly. Probably not. Ugh. So let me have a look. I probably need to get up anyway. So clock out. Going to a clock divider there. It's going like crazy. Why are they going crazy? See, I don't understand the clock output of the KeyStep yet because I haven't worked my way into the menu system, and it's like it's sending my clock divider totally nuts. That's going up to there. That's going over there, right? Okay. Just going to take to clock in on the ratchet. There's a real big tone going on, isn't there? Got a woodlouse on the flipping stereo delay. Get out of it. Now, I know what I'm trying to do, but I'm not able to pull it off for some reason. Which is what Suzanne was saying, was she used a gate, sort of a random gate or a rhythm. Just take that tone off a little bit. To turn on a wave folder. Turn a wave folder on and off. And I was trying to do that same thing with the STO by turning up the wave shaper on it with a gate from the ratchet, but that didn't seem to work. I hadn't looked at it before, but there we go. I need to look at that in a little bit more depth, I think. Just trying to think if I have another way of doing that. I do have the chopping kinky over here, so I could. I just can't quite remember actually how I used that. I could attempt. Somewhere I've got a long enough cable. I sort of know what I mean. I'm just not able to pull it off at the minute. But that's alright. Never mind about such things. Yeah, well, that's a thing. That was it's quite nice as it goes. Quite nice, quite nice. So, would you like would you like a demo of the pom thing? Shall I bring that over? Right, I'm going to see if I actually get proper sound out of it, because I've only actually run it with the speaker, and the speaker's a bit kind of weedy, to say the least. So if I take, besides some effects on it would be flipping awesome. Where did I plug that in there? Look. No, I have not plugged this into here before, so I have no idea whether that works, but there's an output, look. It's just cable that's going to be big enough, shall we? That'd be good. Plug that into there. Now it's running on batteries, so it might well run out. There's a noise, I mean there's a thing, a light. Should it be making a sound, do you think? Possible to say. Let's take an output from there. Yeah, now I've got some signal. Definitely some signal. Oh yeah, I turned the whole thing down. That'll be it. That'll be it. Right, so let's just pull those bits down. Turn that up. I think it was DivKid that said the output's a bit low, as it appears to be. Oh, easy now. Playing the delay llama. Classic. So like, yeah, it's got things like you'd expect it to have. So you've got your square wave, you've got a sawtooth, and you've got a sine. Ooh, that's a bit more interesting. Still a bit quiet. Maybe I can plug it in one of these. Oh. That's a bit better. Kinda. Tuning's a bit. What can I do with that? Ooh. Stand by, stand by. Hang on, I need a... No, I want a long one. Come out. What was it coming out of? Oh, it's coming out of here. There we go. what? Oh, there you go. That's the. What is the scientist trying to achieve? Says Demarin. I don't know. Good question. Who knows? Just having a fiddle, really. My first impressions of it, because that's the first time I've actually sat it down and run it through a system, is that it's quite good fun. It seems to divide opinion. I found it quite interesting. Whenever I talk about it or mention it, I get people going, I've never even touched the thing. It would be awful. Oh, it's so toy-like and crap. I was quite surprised at the pushback against it. I mean, I just thought it was a bit hipster and kind of, I don't know, trying to find the right words in these days. A bit fluffy sort of thing you'd have sitting on your sideboard at home rather than actually put to any use. But is somebody being... Did I miss somebody being offensive? Hannah, really? Sorry about that. I don't know what that's about. I don't know what that's about. Beats the hell out of me. Anyway, there we go. So yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's not perfect. Like this knob here really doesn't move very well. The pulse width modulation only goes halfway round before it disappears. Tuning's a bit ooh, but it makes a fun and enjoyable sound, and you can sit there and play with it as a unit, and that is something I really quite like. You're not having to fuss about plugging it into other stuff. You can just sit there, headphones on, and just play around, and that's enormously fun. There's not enough to it is perhaps the one thing. So you're thinking, well, how else can I mix something in? How else can I get a different melody going? Or something along those lines. It's like, for instance, the filter's only got one input, which is a shame. If it had 3 inputs, because everything seems to have 3 outputs, that would be more useful. And so you've only got 2 VCAs, you've got 3 oscillators. So, it's not quite enough, perhaps. But what's there, you can do an awful lot with. So I'm going to be doing a proper review of this soon. I have other things to do, but I'll get to this soon enough. It's certainly interesting. The build was interesting. I built it with my kids because I didn't feel I was able to sit down and just do it myself. And I felt like it would be interesting to see if it would be a good thing for kids to get into. Would it be interesting for them? Would they be able to do it? Would they care? Would they sit still long enough? All those sorts of questions. And also because people say, oh, it's just a toy, isn't it? What if it's a toy? Can kids actually build it? The answer to that is yes, they can. But then how do you actually get sound out of it is a lot trickier. You can't intuit your way out of it. Certainly not with the 170, I have to say. But that's a lot of that is to do with the fact that the manual is badly conceived. It's a beautiful manual, beautifully created, but badly thought out. but you know how much I like manuals and how much I like to criticize manuals. So there we go. I'll tell you all about that when I get to it. But as far as the kids go, building it was a lot of fun. It's just the last little bits that caused us a bit of trouble and got frustrated, and they all wandered off to do something else. But otherwise, fun. The sequencer, the sequencer seems to be pretty powerful on the 170. Now that's the speaker. And the fact you can do this is pretty cool. But obviously the speaker's terrible. But it's good enough if you're just sitting in your kitchen. Ugh. But the sequencer, this fella, seems powerful and interesting. It's just a bit of a pain. Just a bit of a pain to use, which is a shame. But again, I haven't gotten quite to the bottom of it yet, so I'll reserve judgment on it. But this touch plate here is difficult. You have to push really hard to get things to work, which is a shame. Because otherwise, it's quite an interesting thing. Although, I can't work out what those bits are. But anyway, as a thing, because these have been in our house for the last week, and it's just a beautiful object. It's a lovely object, which happens to also be a bit of a modular. Oh, have I got to kick somebody else out? Is that really what we've come to? Oh dear. Really? So, okay. So, how was that? I mean, other than the excitement of Hannah turning up, gosh. I mean, as it goes, if you're interested in being a moderator on my channel, because I can't always check these things, and as we get more people watching, it's potentially going to get a bit more troublesome out there. Then, I mean, if you're interested in doing that, then just drop me a line, and maybe there's something I can sort out in that regard. It might not be a bad idea moving forward, just to give someone else the power to kick people off, and then everyone else can tell on them when they get a bit too power hungry. Is that how it works? That would be good. I did get a message. I wonder if somebody was really trying to get in touch with me about that. No, probably not. Anyway, what was I saying? What am I doing? Time's getting on. Let's see where we got to. How about we focus on a virus vaccine? Yeah, it'll be groovy, whatever it is. Mr. Wright, my neighbours are chickens. They don't really care. Is it only the pom you were hearing? Yes, I added some reverb and a little bit of delay. That was all. Yeah, see, Synth Addict, there. Teenage Engineering makes great stuff, but OPZ is amazing, but I wouldn't get their modular. See, it's interesting. It's interesting. I mean, other people say it's really expensive, and I can't quite wrap my head around that either. It's 500 quid, the yellow one, 500 quid. What can I get for 500 quid? 2 modules, these two, 500 quid. Mother 32, 500 quid, perhaps. Which doesn't have 2 oscillators, let alone 3 oscillators. 3 Craves, I suppose. Is that the same thing? No. I mean, it's a proper modular. It's not semi-modular, although it's not proper modular in that you can't swap out the modules as such. But it is. There's no normalization in the signal path. You have to patch it to get any sound out. So 500 quid for a complete, relatively complete self-contained system. Yeah, that's all right. I think that's all right. Is it a toy? I don't know. Like I say, it's not. I mean, it's the thing with the knobs and the structure and that kind of thing is, yeah, it's a bit weeny, a bit pathetic in that regard. You could probably upgrade those knobs, I imagine. And I'm going to take it apart a little bit and just see if I can loosen some of the ones, because it's, yeah, my kids screwed the whole thing in, and it probably just needs a little bit of loosening and wiggling about to get some of the knobs to move correctly. Also, taking the knobs on and off was a right pain because they hurt after a while. You're jamming those things in to get them in the right place. So, you know, it's not an absolute wondrous joy, but yeah, I quite like it. I quite like it. But you'll find out when I get really down to it. Yeah, you get the sample and hold modulating filter. I would have done. I haven't yet got that bit to work because I'm a bit shaky on the whole sample and hold thing in the first place. And then in an unfamiliar modular system, I'm looking at it going, well, I don't know, how do I get what? So yeah, I haven't quite worked that out. I couldn't work out how I was clocking it. No, yeah, I did get that. I did get it to work. But yeah, I can't remember. I have to have a look at it a bit deeper. It's not because it's a proper sample and hold as opposed to just generating random voltages. You have to stick something in it in order to sample, in order to generate the voltage and stuff. Anyway, but yeah, I would do. I will do, wouldn't I? Yeah, no, I wasn't convinced by the name, I have to say. I mean, the other thing to mention about the teenage engineering stuff is that it seems like it's all too late, as in, wasn't it released like 18 months ago, 2 years ago, two NAMs ago? Wasn't that when it was supposed to come out? I kind of think so. My feeling about it is the reason I sort of reached out to Teenage Engineering about it was because I haven't really seen it about, and it was very recently picked up by Sound Technology in the UK to be distributor for it, rather than, I guess, selling direct. And I thought, well, there must be a sort of a resurgence of it. It must be a version 2. It must be something, a reproduction, because they had a lot of trouble in actually getting them to market, I think. And the ones that you saw, the ones that people did reviews of, were very early modules, or just borrowed or seen in a shop, as opposed to an actual release. And they seemed to release a few and then it disappeared, then there was a huge waiting list, and I had all that trouble with the OP1 and other things going on, and so it all just seemed to go onto the back burner, whereas now it seems to be more generally available, and all of it as well, not just the 400 but the 170 and the 16 as well. And that prompted me to reach out to Sound Technology and say, because they're a bit more local, you know, do you have spare ones? Could I do a bit of a review? And they went, oh, I don't know. And they asked up the line, and Teenage Engineering said yes, which is awesome. So I think it's good to revisit it, because I don't think perhaps it's been given a fair shake as yet, because I really haven't seen anything on it since those first early videos. I mean, DivKid probably did the most in-depth thing on it, which was great, but also he had the flu at the time. And they have made it easier to build since, only a little bit, but a bit easier to build. So I'm heartened by that. But I will try to get the build videos up relatively soon, I think. So I've got all those sitting on my hard drive. Just got to edit them down, edit out all the kids going, "No, I'm bored," and things like that, and knocking things over. So that'll be fun, and then I'll get to actually reviewing it. Well, I don't know where I'm fitting that all in, because I had my list before with the 185 and then the Perkle and then the Ratchet and then the Deckard's Dream. How am I going to get that in there? And I've still got the Novation keyboard to do. Anyway, let's see if we can pull this to some kind of conclusion, shall we? Yeah, I know. It's hardcore insulting the shirt. Yes. That's yes, yes indeed. Oh, really? So, look, I gave you the benefit of doubt by not banning you immediately. And then, sadly, well, it's fun, isn't it? I mean, I know what it is. It's right. It's because I mentioned Black Lives Matter in my last thing. That's made me a target now for idiots. Ha ha. Awesome. I just bring it on myself by these crazy communist notions that I have of how we could have a wonderful world if we all just decided to be nice to each other for a change. It's nuts. Totally nuts. So, you know, it's my own fault, really. Sorry, everybody. I was too busy reading the comments up the top. So, yeah, as we said, we probably need to do a little bit of moderation. Quantum space. Thanks, man. Oh, that's what that was. Nice. Thanks. See, I still didn't notice. I'm such an idiot. But I appreciate the dollars to ban Erin. I did it. Okay, well, we're not going to have too much longer to worry about it, I don't imagine. Oh, dear. Really? I mean, is it just copying and pasting? The same person, you reckon? Could be. I don't know. I mean, I have pissed off some people in my time. I mean, I was doing that today with some guy from Denmark. I decided to say just slightly weird things in the comments, and it ended up being a huge, oh no. See, you get, there you go. There you go. Really? Oh, sorry, I'm clicking in the wrong place. Oh, like an idiot. Well, this is exciting then. Are they? Anyway, so yeah, like I say, I bring it on myself, but that's entertaining. Oh, the other thing I wanted to criticise was maybe they're from, maybe this is where they're from. Maybe they're from the Saber Zone cosplay place, because I bought a couple of lightsabers for my kids as a reward for being wonderful in the lockdown, and one of them didn't work, and it's just taken weeks and weeks and weeks, and they don't respond to anything. And it's really starting to annoy me. So I was thinking perhaps I could start an online campaign against these, I don't know, pair of guys probably who imported a load of lightsabers from China and are trying to sell them. And unfortunately I got one that it doesn't work and it's the wrong colour. And anyway, I can't be bothered with that right now. Can't be bothered. Talenza, yeah, you did. We had a conversation, didn't we? Or did we? I can't remember. I tried to respond to most messages if I can. And, I mean, there were a couple that I deleted because they were just, like, cringingly pointless, if that's the right word. So, you know, I don't think I did. I mean, your name and your little icon is very familiar. And so I don't think it did. No, and as I said to this Denmark guy, is there a better name? Anyway, because he was, you know, he started going off about, well, I didn't know I wasn't allowed to comment. Well, you are commenting, and I'm having a conversation with you. You're very welcome to comment, provided that you keep it within the realms of civility. You know, I mean, once people will start name calling, it's like I can't be doing with it. You know. Why should I be bothered? But if it's just about keeping within the edge, because people who are sort of posting edgy comments tend to be on the edge slightly of going a bit nuts for whatever reason. I'm not entirely sure. That happens. So I try not to delete people, and I try to respond to people. I try not to be too sarky. I tend to be a little bit sarky because that's how I am. But you know, I don't mind there being a difference of opinion at all. I don't mind someone having a case. I just, you know, I don't want to start throwing insults at people or just saying nutty stuff. Because I tend to find that even when I do engage with people in the comments, it does end up getting nutty. They start going nutty. And I kind of have to assume that it's it's because they probably didn't expect to have a conversation. They probably just expected to say something weird and then disappear, you know. But there we go. There we go. But this guy's whole beef was kind of semantic, as in he really objected to the idea that Black Lives Matter as opposed to all lives matter. Oh, it's just like so missing the point of everything in the world. But there we go. That's where we are. I mean, I guess the question is that if all lives matter, then are Black lives part of all lives matter? Oh, they are. Okay, they are. Great. Well, then there's a whole lot of terrible things happening to this part of all lives. And do you think it would be good that we do something about it? That would be great. All lives still mattering, you know, whatever. I mean, the important thing personally is that I'm just a great believer in trying to make the world a better place rather than not. So I'm given a choice. Would you like to make the world better for this particular group of people who are being murdered? I'd go, yeah, I'd quite like that. Can I support something which does that? Really? I should be taking screenshots or something to stick on Instagram for fun. For fame and fortune. Anyway, we're hitting our 2 hours. So I think we're probably had enough. Probably enough. So yeah, anyway, blah, 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 lots of things. I'd like to talk about things like that, political things, because it's important. I'm a great believer that music creativity is part of life and it's part of what makes us human, and to ignore the state of humanity is to doesn't make any sense. Would seem odd if you're someone who's into music, in my view. So we've probably had enough noise for this evening, so I will sign us off perhaps at this point. And thanks ever so much for watching. I mean, there's a whole bunch of you there. I mean, I imagine you're all, 50 of you are probably lining up ready to write spam onto the channel, just, queuing yourselves up. But that's all right. I mean, I hope you found something interesting amongst it all, or that you found some way of using your evening to abuse people online. I mean, that's at least, I wouldn't say productive, but it's at least not watching the telly. It's an active participation in something. I mean, that's quite awesome. I'm not American, so why am I speaking on American issues? No, I'm not American. I mean, I'm talking about, we're the UK. We are the fathers of racism, America, you're just a punk kid. You're just a teenager. We've been doing it for years over here in the UK, man. For centuries, for millennia. So, yeah, nice. So, yeah, that'll do us. That's a couple of hours. Great, under our belts. Well done. Thanks very much for joining us. We do have Helena Volksinger on, I hope I'm saying that right, on the 9th, I believe it is. He's coming in for a Molten chat, so that's exciting. This week, I hope to post up the build videos of the Teenage Modular. That would be great. Other things coming along, and I'll let you know how we're going, and hopefully... Of course, you're all going to sign up to my new fitness channel, which is awesome. So I'll be looking forward to seeing you there. Maybe we should do it as Zoom. Yeah, anyway. That's cool. So thanks again. Thanks for your contributions. Thanks for the chat. It's always good. And I'm going to go and have a nice lie down somewhere. So, cool. Thanks, and sorry about the chat. Thanks for tolerating it. It's appreciated. In the meantime... Is there anything else I'm supposed to say? I feel like I'm just like sort of calling it a night, and I don't know. That feels slightly odd. Never mind. Maybe it's just that strange interaction. So take care of yourselves. Till next time. Go and make some tunes and all that kind of thing. Should I sign off with this just to give some people some more room to spam? Would that be good? Should we have a bit of spam time? Yeah, all right, so So whoever's out there, crazy people, give yourself 5 minutes, and I'll do a bit of noodling for 5 minutes, and you can, you know, say whatever filth you like. Or does somebody want to play? Does somebody want to play spam bot for 5 minutes? Anti-spam bot, I mean. Yeah, whatever. Bit of that. Oh, that was nasty. I did the thing I meant to do before, just with the filter cut off. there you go, you see? Music is the cure to these sorts of things, to that sort of behaviour, every time.